Still trying to bust through this big old pile of gunpla as quickly as possible, so if there is something you'd like to see that I haven't reviewed yet that's on this pile, let me know down in the comments and I'll get to it as soon as possible, and you guys have to see this right here. So this right here is the Master Grade Gundam Heavyarms EW Eagle Unit. Once again, of course, this is from Endless Waltz, like all the Master Grade wing kits tend to be. And once again, this one right here is Premium Bandai. So if you do want any Premium Bandai wing kits or Premium Bandai anything kits, you can get them where I got mine, which is at Bai. So there is a link down there in the description. And if you sign up through that link down there, you'll get 1,000 yen off your first purchase. But anyway, once again, like I said, this is a Premium Bandai version of the Endless Waltz Heavyarms. It's not as different as what we would have seen with the Heavyarms custom or any of the other customs. This is more like the Shenlong Laoya, and it's the same kit that we got before as a normal release, just with the weapon kit. But anyway, let's check it out. So anyway, that right there is what the Eagle version of the Heavyarms looks like, all snapped together with a bit of minimal effort. And when I say minimal effort, I mean minimal effort. All I did was panel line the muzzle there. That is it. That and the standard head camera and eye stickers. So before I go into the actual aesthetics of this kit, there it is side by side with the standard version of the Heavyarms. So this is exactly this kit with some extra weapons, which of course you can see up here on the shoulder, around here on the side of the leg. The vast majority of this is new, and we've got those cool caterpillar track frame arms looking parts around there on the back. So that is the only thing that makes it different, otherwise it's the exact same kit. This one here has aged a little bit, yellowed a little bit with time. The red seems a little bit duller, but that may not pick up on camera. But besides that, these are absolutely identical. Anyway, there is the full 360 spin of it with all the weapons attached. All the Eagle version equipment attached, I should say. I'm going to take these all off so you can see what is new with this kit, what makes it new, whether or not that is worth it or not to you. I do feel they are quite cool. Personally, the green to me, it kind of clashes with the color scheme. You may like it, you may not, but to me, I would prefer if it matched with the mobile suit a bit better. So the whole idea behind this is all of these weapons get purged as it uses them. Basically, that would be the ones on the shoulders, the ones on the side of the legs, and the caterpillar tracks around back are there to give it that extra push when it's on the ground because it's that much heavier. I would love if sometime down the line we got a different kind of variant color in the manga or something like that, because the green, once again, to me, doesn't look that great with the colors on here. I would prefer a big, unified kind of cool color scheme like that. Something a little bit more appealing, but all in all, it still looks pretty cool. Anyway, that right there is the Heavyarms Eagle version with absolutely everything it comes with, and as you can see, that's a lot of stuff. So I'm going to take away what came with the standard version, which of course is that Gatling, the shield, this one right here, the alternate arm part, which has that hidden beam saber, this over here, one of my favorite Gundam weapons of all time. It's just a giant hunting knife that flips out. Pretty damn awesome right there. Of course, all of those swappable style hand fingers, those we've seen in the standard version. Same goes with the base adapter, that tiny little Troa. And that leaves us with all of this stuff here, which would be the Eagle equipment. And we have some water slides back there. Let's take a look at those first. So there's the sheet of water slide decals that we get with this Premium Bandai version of the Heavyarms. So these are your typical Katoki style decals, loads of tiny little ones, white probably for on the red probably for on the white. And besides that, these are fairly standard fare and will take quite a long time, I would imagine. Because I've never done it. There is the one I'm looking at today, side by side with the standard version. As you can see, it is identical besides the equipment. I will mention that these little guys down here for on the side of the legs, these are slightly different to these. They use all the rockets in the front sections. It just doesn't use these parts, which are left over, which are the little kind of containers from the sides of the legs there. So you get new ones for that. One of you guys over on Instagram asked me, could I use the Eagle equipment with the Heavyarms custom, and I will do just that, especially for you, after trying it all on the standard version. Now here we go. So we're going to start from the legs up, and first we have these little missile canisters. So these ones on the front are pretty much the same as what we saw before. They open up like this, and like this for all that DACA. But now what we have is over on this side, two more opening segments. That is right here and right here. So that is 20 more of those little missiles per leg. To attach those, it's just as simple as always. It just pops onto the side of the leg like so. As for the other one, flip it over, and exactly the same thing round here. That right there is what they look like closed up. Pop them open, and there's an example of what they look like opened up while mounted on the sides of the leg. Next up then we've got the little crawler units which attach onto the legs. These have little caterpillar tracks on the bottom there. Sadly, they do not move. And awesomely enough, if you think about it, these are almost the size of a small-ish tank anyway. That's one reason why I do love the included minifigure. It's great to see what the scale would be like in reality. But all in all, I love this. As for the articulation we have on this can pull off like so. There's a peg that locks it in place there. This can slide up and down, so there's articulation right here and here. And it can slide up and down as well as rotate right there. If you've got those eagle eyes, you might have noticed that this is missing the armor on the sides of its ankles. Usually it pops on there, so that is missing on both sides of the legs. That's because that's exactly where this thing attaches. So that clips onto where the side armor section would have went, just in there like so. Then you can pop the front armor section on again. It ends up looking a little something like that right there. And that right there is what it looks like with both attached. So this can click off like so, pull out like that, and drop down behind it like that. We'll do that with the other one. There we go. And this is great for support. And it also gives me extreme frame arms vibes. But anyway, yeah, that can drive around like so. Next up, we've got the missile pods for on the shoulders. These are my favorite out of everything. I think these look pretty cool. I do love them in the green. I just don't like the green with the color scheme of the Heavyarms itself. And on here, we have 6 opening hatches here, as well as 3 on the inner side and 3 on the back side. These can be a little bit difficult to open up. There's a bit of a knack, kind of flick them like so. At times, it can be a bit tough, like what's happening right here, but there we go. Once again, some gray missiles inside. I recommend grabbing a toothpick or something. It will save you a lot of, well, some of the hassle. It's still pretty difficult to get open at times. There we go, and there we go. Once you get the knack of it, though, it's not so bad. Anyway, there it is, fully open. So we've got 4 in each one, a grand total of 12. So that's 48 missiles, 48 in there. So to attach them onto the shoulder, we've got this little segment right here. On splitting that in half, it attaches up onto these spike sections up on the shoulders. Close it back up. What we've got is this here with the attachment point for the shoulder missile pods. Inside there, then we have the attachment point to attach them on. And that just affixes on there. Simple as that. Once again, I love the design of these guys. A bit iffy about the color scheme though. Finally, there is what the Eagle version of the Heavyarms EW looks like with everything attached. So there is not a whole lot added onto this, but it does add a lot of nice bulk in the right places, I feel. There is one bit of a down point with this. Of course, that is you cannot open the back missile hatches on the shoulder because of these. Of course, if you think of it lore-wise, these are purged after they're used, so these will be free to be used then. But when you're doing the full Heavyarms open hatch thing, it would be nice to have those open as well, but I guess, well, you're just gonna have to suck it up. But anyway, I'm gonna open all these up and give it a big spin. So finally, there's what the Master Grade Heavyarms EW Eagle version, or should I say, Igel Unit version, with all of those missile hatches and the chest hatch open. And this thing brings the fury right here. If you love the idea of a Gundam just letting loose with all that ammo, all that firepower, then this might be the one you're after. It takes what the standard Heavyarms does and dials it all the way to 11. This is definitely a pretty cool design right here. Of course, like I mentioned, it does block the back missile hatches from opening up, but it adds so many extra missiles, I guess that isn't really that big of a complaint. On the whole though, this is one serious looking Gundam. I'm not going to go through the entire articulation on this guy because it has been around for, well, almost 10 years now. But what I am going to mention is if any of the new equipment does get in the way of what we had already. Honestly, for the most part, it doesn't. Even raising the arm up like this, it would have been blocked at this segment anyway, so it is perfectly designed to allow the arm to move up to its maximum lift. There is even a recessed section inside of this right here to allow for that. Pretty cool. This also doesn't get in the way of any of the whoa. It would be good if this was attached on properly. Okay. So that does not get in the way of any of the rotation it would have had already, so this just blocks the hatch on the back. As for this here on the side of the legs, this is on top of an already existing unit, and it doesn't really move its legs out too much there. So that doesn't have anything that it can actually get in the way of. all this stuff back here, when that is out, isn't really going to do much either. There is a lot of articulation to it, so it's not going to do anything when it's folded up in place in the storage way that it can like this. It may smack off the butt flap here, but once again, you can just move that all out of the way. So essentially, they have added quite a bit of bulk, but none of it really gets in the way of the Heavyarms articulation, which is awesome. And speaking of the articulation on the Heavyarms, it's all pretty good. There is a couple of areas where it could be a bit better, like in the torso, at the ankles, etc. But on the whole, this is a solid build, very simple, it's fun to play around with, and the articulation is pretty good. And I guess all that's left is to add on all of that traditional Heavyarms equipment and see what it looks like complete. First up, we've got that awesome hunting knife. I like to put it on backwards because it doesn't really get in the way all the time. If you put it on the right way around, it tends to clash a little bit with the shoulder up here, so I prefer it the other way around, just for ease of posing. On with the big ol' ammo tank. There we go. Next up is the Gatling gun, which is probably one of the most annoying to attach weapons in all of Master Grade Gunpla history. Oh, there goes the hand. Oh, and this just popped. I hate this. Okay, so I've detached the ammo belt. On with the hand. Try to get that in there without it popping out. And it's on! It's on! Slapping on the shield like that. And here we go. Ammo tank, the second attempt. On with that. Now let's attempt to plug in that belt. That's not actually as bad as I remember it to be. And finally, there we go. There's the Master Grade Heavyarms with the Igel equipment attached, as well as that awesome big old Gatling. Not as annoying to attach as I thought it was. It used to be a little bit more trouble. Maybe my fingers aren't as useless as they used to be, but anyway. All in all, this is beautiful. So what has more firepower than the Heavyarms? Well, of course, the Heavyarms Custom. So let's try out the Igel equipment on this because it's essentially physically the same. So these are going to have to... Oh, don't pull off all of that. You get back on there. Next, we're going to have to pop this off so we can take off these little side armor segments in order to attach on the crawlers. So there's two of those to come off. Oh, that one's gone. And now that it's prepped, on with the crawler, on with the extended missile pod. Of course, that is in a slightly different color. This is in a very bluish white. This is in a yellowy white. Try not to forget to put back on the armor. There we go. Moving on up to the shoulder, and the only difference to the standard Heavyarms is the color of these things. Otherwise, they are physically the same. This goes on just like so. Fits snug and perfectly. And that big old missile container pops on like so. So that right there is what we'd get if we put the Igel equipment onto the Heavyarms Custom. So that is pretty cool. So of course, the Heavyarms Custom packs in some more guns than what we would have seen on the standard Heavyarms. So adding some more missiles just makes it that much cooler. One more time, there is the spinny, 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 and that looks awesome. Anyway, that right there is it for the review, and what can I say, the Master Grade Heavyarms EW, actually the whole EW line besides the wing, are all amazing, awesome kits. They're solid as a rock, they're quite simple, but their simplicity means they're solid and awesome. They're fun to play around with, they're fun to pose, and to me that's the most important thing about Gunpla. What's the point in having something big and awesome if it falls apart when you try and pull off a sweet pose? But anyway, the standard version of Heavyarms, that is the EW version right there without all that equipment, for me, has always been a silver tier Master Grade. It means it's exactly what I expect from a Master Grade, and the same goes for this right here. It's the same kit we saw before with some nice new weapons. These are super high quality, they all have nice opening hatches, and this was a joy to build, and all I can say is I love it. If you like the Master Grade Heavyarms, or even if you've never had your hands on the Master Grade Heavyarms, it is a great kit, and this is a great kit with a great expansion. At the end of the day, I 100% recommend this kit. If you are looking for this or any other premium Bandai hard to find kits or Gundam-based kits, etc., there's a link down there in the description. You can get yours through Buy, that's where I got mine. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. Kitses, I must be turning into some kind of Gunpla golem or something. Once again, all my thanks to each and every one of you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, this channel would not exist. So that's to everyone who watches these videos, hits that like button, and of course to those of you who support me on the channel memberships and Patreon, including Craig Jury, Mark Wu, Kaiser721, Forged Horizons, Bolwick, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhart, Halo creator, and Hank Handsome.